This is Mike Licona, and I'm at the Revive Apologetics Conference at Bayside Church near Sacramento, California. And this is just, man, a great conference. It's packed and a lot of electricity here. And I just had the privilege, really great blessing yesterday, of bumping into my friend and fellow speaker, Dr. Craig Hazen. And I know so many Craigs, I didn't want to get that mixed up, but it's Craig Hazen.
There are a lot of us. There really are.
Absolutely. Let's see. Craig Blomberg, Craig Evans, Craig Keener, William Lane, Craig.
Yeah.
So
I was on a panel with all of them one time. It was terrible.
Craig, and you all looked at each other. So anyway, so bumped into him. He's a fellow speaker, and he just came out with a brand new book, and I got a copy of it. It's called Fearless Prayer: Why We Don't Ask and Why We Should. And so I asked Craig if we could just tell us a little about this book, because it looks really interesting. It's well made, hardcover, doesn't look intimidating at all, but I know he's going to have some great insights in this thing. I really respect Craig. Craig, hand me my phone and tell me a little about this book.
All right. Hey, thanks, Mike, for the opportunity to plug this in, and great to see you here at the conference. This is a booming conference. It's been going on for about, must have been 4 or 5 of them now. One of the biggest apologetics conferences in the country that they have here at Bayside in Northern California. But so a number of years ago, I ran into a passage in the Gospel of John that really bugged me. It was John 15:7, where Jesus says, "If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for anything and it will be done for you." And it dawned on me that I don't really believe that. And I'm not sure I know anybody who really believes that. So it set me off on a bit of an exploration on that passage. And after looking at it from every angle and considering all the objections we have to seeing that passage fulfilled, I didn't come up with the conclusion that Jesus really meant it. You know, surprise, surprise, he really did mean that. And it's amazingly positive and exciting for Christians, especially Christians in ministry, wanting to wanting to bear his fruit and see his kingdom go forward. And so if you want to have your prayer life sort of refreshed, this insight can do it. It did for me. That's one reason I kind of wanted to write this book. Although my colleagues are still wondering why I wrote a book on prayer. I guess I don't exude the kind of spirituality that they were expecting. So the conclusion is Jesus really meant it. And if you abide in him, and I think that's totally possible, and his words abide in you, certainly that's possible, then you really can't ask for anything, and he will do it for you. It's an amazing promise. Charles Spurgeon, 150 years ago, he would preach on a passage like this and get so excited. In fact, in 1882, he preached a sermon called Ask and Have. Can you imagine a title of a sermon, Ask and Have? And he did an exposition of John 15:7. And he just went on about how exciting this is, that God's going to pour into our laps through prayer everything that we need for ministry and life. It's just exhilarating. So I'm trying to recoup and bring that back to life. And hopefully I will. I hope you enjoy the book, Fearless Prayer: Why We Don't Ask and Why We Should. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, let me just close with a remark here. Most of the stuff that I'm doing is with research, and I will rarely pick up a book that is not directly in line with what I'm researching at that moment. I just hardly ever do that. I hardly take the time to do that. But I can tell you I'm going to be reading this book, and it's not going to take long, and it's not intimidating,
Right.
And I know I got stuff to learn from you. So
It's not a Mike Licona book. Oh, for goodness sake.
No, I'm looking forward to reading this, because I think there's some things I can learn from you here, and I appreciate you writing it, Craig. So thanks a bunch.
Oh, thanks, Mike.